Hello, I'm Faye Clark. I'm with Making Kenora Home in the Options Committee. The Options Committee has hosted for 4 years now the Poverty Challenge. The Poverty Challenge is part of the Week of Action Against Poverty. It's a local Kenora-based awareness campaign that we bring the second week of February just to make everybody think about what it's like to live in poverty, or to advocate for those who do, just to take a little bit of action from their own personal perspective or the community. So the Poverty Challenge is a piece of a Week of Action Against Poverty. What it is we challenge people to live off of what Ontario Works, which is a social assistance program in Ontario, would provide to somebody who did not have an income. So Ontario Works has what's called basic needs. Basic needs are it's funds that go towards things such as food, entertainment, transportation, just really the basics of life. So Ontario Works basic needs for a family would depend on the number of adults within the family unit. So this year for the Poverty Challenge, we had 2 families live for 5 days on what Ontario Works basic needs would be. The 2 families had different rates because one family was a family with a single parent. So she and her 2 children received $60 to live off for 5 days. And the other family, the Bouchers, who are here today, they have 2 adults in their family. So they were allowed $75 over the 5 days. So what happened was they started the challenge with $75 in their pocket, and then they were asked to live off of that $75. Of course, they got to stay in their homes, but they were asked to make some adjustments so that they could kind of keep the costs low to make it a little bit more realistic. So the Bouchers are here today, and I'm going to introduce you to them. Angela.
Hi.
Hello. And Kate. Kate, how old are you?
7.
And Owen.
Hi.
How old are you, Owen?
11.
And Branson.
12.
And Jerry. Hello.
Hi.
So you as a family decided to take the challenge. Why did you agree to take it?
Well, I think we decided to take the challenge to educate our kids on what families live off of when they are on assistance, to make us more thoughtful with our purchases and how we are viewing the people around us. Yeah.
Very good. Jerry?
Once again, it was about showing the kids how most of Kenora lives. Like, you know, people on assistance especially. It's tough. There's a lot of things you have to do without.
Right.
You know, and my kids are very fortunate that we have a lot of this stuff. But I thought this challenge would show them what if. Mm-hmm. You know, it wouldn't take long for me to lose a job.
So obviously the kids are all in school at this age, and
Yes.
you work full-time.
Yes.
And Angela?
I work part-time.
Okay. So when you decided to take the challenge, you discussed it with your children.
Yes.
Branson, can you tell me what you thought of when your parents first told you that you were going to take the Poverty Challenge?
I thought I just said okay.
You just agreed? What about you, Kate?
I thought it'd be pretty easy.
Did you? Did your mom tell you what you were going to do? Yeah. So did you have any things that you were thinking of that you would have to give up?
Yeah.
What was it that you would have to give up?
Video games.
Right.
TV.
Right. And why would you have to give up TV if you were on the Poverty Challenge?
Like, poor people don't have TVs.
Right, they cost a lot of money to buy, right? Yeah. So, Jerry and Angela, what were your thoughts about the challenge before you started? What did you expect to happen?
Well, my thoughts were, when I found out the amount of money that we would be living off of, was, could we actually do this? You know, I'm the primary grocery shopper in our family, so a lot of that budgeting fell on my shoulders to figure out, you know, could we physically, you know, buy enough food for our needs for the week. So I was a little worried about that.
So you took care of the food.
Yeah.
What about you, Jerry?
No, I actually wasn't really worried. I really wasn't. Angela's a pretty smart cook. And we have lived just pretty close to that line when we first started going and got married. And so I had full confidence. You know? And I wasn't worried so much about me as my children, which is probably the same things that go through every father's head. You know? And once I knew they were going to be okay, smooth sailing. It was easy, piece of cake.
Okay. So I gave a little overview of what basic needs are considered as. Before you started the challenge, what did you think of that would be included in basic needs? So let's back up a bit.
No, I didn't really give it much thought. It was $75 for a week. And, I thought, well, now we get down to $15 a day or less. I thought, well, wait a minute. We can't buy gas here and just go. You know, for little things. Go to the library, what have you. Or I'm very notorious for jumping in a van and going for a quick snack. If the wife needs a bag of chips, I gotta go. Right? That was probably, the snacking was the hardest part. And I knew that was going to be challenging. But once Anna started baking, like it was good. It was good. Yeah.
I wasn't totally sure what basic needs meant until I read the information you gave us, what would fall within basic needs for food and paper products for the home and traveling and entertainment. So once we broke that down, I was, okay, well, not sure how we're going to make this work. Definitely realized we could not be driving our vehicle within that basic needs dollar amount. There's no way we could have been putting gas in a vehicle, letting it warm up with the cold weather to drive it anywhere. So realized we had to nix that idea right away. No vehicle.
Right. So during the challenge, we allowed you to use the vehicle within the rules, but
Yes.
you were dinged $1 if you were going to take it for something that you really didn't have to be at. So, but then there were the extra costs that were associated to the vehicle, that the insurance and, like you said, the gas and everything, right? So it's tough to keep it realistic.
Yes.
Within a challenge like this.
Yes.
So did you come up with a game plan of how you were going to make sure that your $75 would last for the 5 days?
Well, we budgeted for groceries. We took a look at what we could and couldn't afford. Our game plan was no vehicle. So the kids missed some activities because we just didn't know how to get them to their cross-country skiing lessons. So we just knew we would miss some things. We also took a look at the meals that were offered in town that people could take advantage of. So at the beginning of the week, we're like, well, what day could we walk where to participate in some of the meals that would be available? So we did that twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have a game plan of how you were going to make sure that you could incorporate it into along with your work at the same time? And
Actually, not really. The challenge during the work days wasn't a challenge per se for me, you know, because I just went to work and forgot about everything else. You know, my snacking, I just at 10 o'clock just lowered everything down. You know, because you can only have leftovers so many times. Apart from that, like I said, my challenge didn't really start till I got home. You know, but it was shampooing, having a shower with Sunlight soap instead of shampoo. You know, that kind of stuff.
so you had a break from the challenge
Absolutely.
of sorts when you went to work.
Because I'm in the shop, so I wasn't really challenged.
Right.
No, my boss provides water for everybody, so I drank lots more water. I didn't touch the coffee we have at work. I've turned down the coffee from most coffees from one of the guys I work with, because he normally buys coffee, and he includes me in on his vices.
Right.
So it wasn't really a challenge for me, not till weekends. No.
That's interesting. So did you go grocery shopping for the initial grocery shop because you weren't supposed to use anything within your cupboard, right? So you're trying to keep that $75 to just that 5 days. Did you go grocery shopping as a family?
Once the challenge started on the Wednesday, was it Wednesday?
The Friday.
Oh, the Friday, sorry. When it started on the Friday, Jerry went back to work and I took the kids grocery shopping, so we went together. So they kind of helped me out. And I didn't even have a loonie with me, so we all grabbed baskets because we couldn't even get a cart. And that's how we started our grocery shopping. And another way we were prepared for the weekend or for the week was we moved food out of our cupboard. So we had a bare cupboard. Jerry got a cupboard open for us, and that's where we put all our groceries. So that was the only cupboard we could grab stuff out of. And in the fridge, we cleared a space for our refrigerated foods, and then we knew those were the only foods we could eat.
So Kate, when you went grocery shopping with your mom, how did you feel when you were in the grocery store?
I felt good.
Yeah. Did you see some treats that you wanted?
Yeah.
Did you ask for granola bars and I had to say no?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
A bit disappointing.
Yeah. What did you get instead of granola bars to bring us snacks?
Cheap cereal.
Oh yeah, cereal was on 50% off. Cheap cereal for 50% off. We definitely bought that.
What kind of cereal was it? Was it
And
the
no
healthy
name
choice?
in a bag.
No, it was not healthy. It was sugar cereal
Right.
with marshmallows.
So you were asked to try to keep your food healthy and make healthy food choices in your grocery shopping. Was that difficult?
Yes, because when you're looking at the fruits and vegetables, you're wondering what you could afford with that. So it was a little tricky. We did not buy much meat, actually. We had, so I don't know if you'd call it a cheat, we had deer meat in our freezer that we did use. It's meat that we hunted for ourselves. So we did use that. Otherwise, our proteins are fairly limited because you just couldn't afford a whole lot of chicken or so I would definitely cut back on the meat.
So boys, when you go to the grocery store, usually, are you allowed to pick something out, or do you have any say in what you eat at home?
No.
No. But do you have, are you milk drinkers?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened during the challenge? Did you have the same amount of milk that you were able to drink?
No.
No. Were you limited in that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't drink anything.
You didn't drink anything?
Nope.
You just chose not to drink?
Kate was taking water to school.
Very good. But the boys didn't really want to make that transition to the water?
No, they drank a
Yeah,
lot of water.
Oh, they
they're
did.
good water drinkers, so it was actually pretty good. The milk is actually like just an added bonus. You know, like I try and drink a glass of milk at supper, so I kind of encourage it. It's not that hard, you know, except with Kate.
Yeah, so that we did find we no juice. We limited the amount of milk. You know, you could have a bit with cereal, but it wasn't. You know, the milk jug didn't go on the table at supper time. I know when the kids set the table, Kate usually puts the water jug and the milk jug on, and I had to tell her, no, you got to put that milk back in the fridge. We're not going to have enough for the week if we are putting it out on the table.
Actually, she never does put the milk on the table anyways. Because she hates milk.
So did you boys think about what you were going to take in your lunches when you were grocery shopping?
No.
Do you pack your own lunches, or do your parents pack them?
We packed them.
So you didn't have any thought about what was going to go into your lunch?
No.
No, you just let your mom buy it?
Basically.
Was it more difficult to pack a lunch when you were on that budget?
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of things did you choose?
Barely anything.
Oh, really? You limited the amount of food that you did eat?
But in fairness, they actually participated in the school lunch programs.
I didn't.
No?
No,
Just
Branson did. Yeah.
Oh. Because I know-
Branson didn't pack a lunch at all. He just went to the lunch program at school.
So they offer a free lunch program to
Didn't
students?
even bat an eye.
No. You just went and did
Yeah.
that. What about when you went to the grocery store? I watched you walk away and you had a sled. So the sled was a bonus, right? Were you prepared? I know in the past people have been on the poverty challenge. They get to the grocery store and realize they don't have any bags.
Yes.
You were prepared,
Absolutely.
and you had
Absolutely.
placed some thought into it.
Yeah, because once we were there, like Angela said, well, maybe we'll take a sled because you got to drive back to work with the van so I can get it home. I said, okay, well, you got to walk. And it's tough walking with 3 little guys on that street.
I read your
That's a
blog about
that's a
that.
challenge itself.
You had to walk down Railway Street, which in this city doesn't have any sidewalks, right?
None. So that's a challenge in itself. Yeah.
Yeah, but we came prepared for grocery shopping. I had brought reusable bags, and those, I mean, you get for free everywhere. You go downtown for any event, and they're handing out reusable bags, so we took those. We did bring the sled because I knew we'd have a long slog home, and we wouldn't be able to carry things. And that's the other thing I had to think about while shopping was, what can we fit in this sled, right? I could have maybe bought a few more articles, but if it wouldn't have fit in the sled and to carry it would have been heavy. So that made me think of a lot of the people who can't even pull their groceries home in a sled and they're carrying it. You spend a lot of time doing simple tasks because you may be getting groceries a little bit every day because you can only carry 2 bags. I'm a healthy, able-bodied person, but if you had any physical disability to be walking in winter carrying groceries, you would be very limited for what you could carry. And then a good portion of your days is spent just walking back and forth doing simple tasks, and I found that tiring.
And Kate, you walked home with your mom?
Yeah.
Did you make it all the way? Did you?
No.
No.
But you got very far. You made it over halfway.
So then you added to the weight in the sleigh after a while, right?
Yeah.
So did anybody go hungry during the challenge? That you did well in your budgeting, you stayed within your $75, but was anybody hungry ever during the entire
I don't
challenge?
think so.
No?
No, because Owen, especially Owen, in the morning, he had no problem having breakfast on leftovers.
Oh?
Like Angela made this wiener stew, and Owen had it 2 days in a row for breakfast.
Wiener stew.
Oh,
It's
awesome.
good stuff.
It's awesome. If
People
you guys
should
tried
try
it, you'll get your wife to make it once. It's awesome. But anyway, I took it to lunch twice. Owen had it twice for breakfast. Branson, he just finds this and that to nibble on.
So wieners, they're not at the top of the nutritional
No.
food choices, right? So did you feel that your nutritional needs were met during the challenge?
For the most part, yes. I mean, I know that's not a great choice, but lots of people eat hot dogs anyway. So yeah, it wasn't a stew with good potatoes and carrots and peas and onions in there, so I think that helped. But I could see that meat would definitely be an issue for people that don't have a large food budget. We did have the deer meat, but not everyone has the ability to go hunting or fishing. So where they would get the money to buy proper proteins I'm not sure how that would work.
That's interesting.
And for fruits and vegetables, we did the cheapest apples, and that was it. And we did some bananas, no oranges, nothing interesting. Vegetables were limited to a bag of frozen mixed veggies and carrots. So that was limiting as well. We stayed within our budget, but I thought to myself, this would get awfully old really fast.
Yeah.
For the food end of things, I did buy some staples like flour and sugar and margarine and eggs. So I did do some baking. I baked biscuits and muffins and cookies. So the kids actually had that for snacks. But maybe that's why I couldn't buy some of the meat. Because I was thinking of the kids when I was meal planning. They need snacks and, something they can grab, in the evening. And for school, too, because they're limited with some of the things they can bring to school just for allergies at school.
Right.
So, yeah, that's why we didn't buy as much meat and bought some of the baking staples.
That's good. So the baking kind of saved you from that monotonous food of carrots and wiener stew.
Yeah.
Like the other challenge, I actually did have one little challenge, and it was I took one banana to work, but I also took something called chicken bologna. Oh. Man, I just flinch every time I see that. It's still in the fridge. I don't even want to give it to my dog.
Chicken bologna is not a hit.
There's actually I think I bought a head of lettuce too.
Yeah.
Right? Man, I piled it on that sandwich just to kill the taste.
It was the cheapest sandwich meat available. It was gross.
So Owen, did you like everything that you were eating during the challenge? Owen?
Yeah.
Did you like everything you were eating?
Yeah.
The wiener stew was good? It saved you? What about you, Branson? Did you like everything that you were eating? Yeah, did you get bored at all of the same food?
A little bit.
Yeah. So when you went to school, boys and Kate, did you talk about the challenge at all when you were at school?
No, really, sort of.
You
No.
did?
Yeah.
What did you tell your friends?
I told them that I had to walk because that's why I was a bit late.
Oh, you were late because you had to walk?
Yeah.
And what did they say?
He said, well, it will soon be over.
So did you talk about it with your teacher at all?
No.
No, just your friends?
Yeah.
So Branson and Owen, you didn't talk about it at school at all?
Nope.
Was there a reason you didn't talk about it?
Because nobody actually really cared.
Good point.
They might have.
Nope.
Nope.
Do you think that maybe there are other kids in your school that go through that every day?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Did it make you think about them at all?
Nope. A little bit.
A little bit. What do you think could be some of their challenges that they would see at school, Owen?
And food.
Yeah. Food. Yeah. Healthy food, right? And walking to school every day. If you because the bus only takes you if you live a certain distance, right? You have to live so far from school to be picked up by the bus.
Yep.
Yeah. And then what about warm clothing? Were you appreciative of your warm winter clothing that you had?
Yep.
So did you discuss it at work, Jerry?
Yes, I did. And my boss says she knows what's going on. She's, she's well aware of the situation around town.
Right.
She must have talked to her boys and her husband because they seem well aware. I mean, they all had their own little answers and they had their own little questions, but nothing too serious. They're young, they're situated already. That kind of thing would never happen to them, that kind of thing. And I guess that's the same with everybody else. That can't happen to me.
Right.
You know?
But you made the comment that it's not too far of a fall.
It's not too far, no. Many years ago, our shop burned down. Man, what am I going to do for work? But first, things turned around very quickly Monday morning. But I kind of went in a little tailspin a bit. But it doesn't take much.
Right.
You know?
Now, you shared in the beginning of the challenge, you shared one kind thing that your workplace does for people that are traveling through, because you kind of work at a spot where there's nothing in between, right? So there are people walking by.
It's more of a dead zone almost. So what I did, people just stop in and warm up. My boss doesn't kick them out. They sit down, they have a drink of water, or they stop along the front in the shady area. My boss in the summer has 2 lawn chairs that she'll have to put outside, and people just sit down.
Very nice. So it's the small things that can
It's
help.
small things, yes. Walking that far and all of a sudden, oh wow, I'm thirsty, or stop to use the phone. It's to my bosses. It's just something that should be done, I guess.
I think that's terrific.
Yeah, it was nice.
So Angela, you shared your challenge with whom? Who did you bring?
I talked to a lot of people about the challenge. Okay, come sit over here. Basically, everyone I kind of was running into, a lot of people knew we were doing the challenge, so I talked to people at the grocery store, I talked to people at my work, friends and family, So yeah, I tried to really spread the word and address some of the challenges I was facing with the shopping and the walking with the kids, and there was a lot of things I had to decline over the 5 days. Community involvement things that I'm busy with. I'm like, I'm sorry, I just can't help you and I can't get there. And so one thing I realized with this challenge was it could be quite isolating because you just wouldn't be able to volunteer for anything in town. It would be hard to get anywhere. People just assume you have internet and do all the interaction, you know, with organizing and stuff like that. So I really tried to cut myself off from those things, and I had to explain to people when they would call why I couldn't volunteer for something during the week or why I couldn't be involved. Yeah, so I tried to spread the word about what we were doing.
Very good. That's interesting. So volunteering is free, but you're still limited if you don't have transportation or even say if there's a fundraiser, funds to spend at it, right? It would certainly be limiting. So when you went through the challenge, each day you were given a challenge card. So it was just sort of to make you think about different things that could come up, although you probably did have things in your everyday life, like getting to your volunteer activities. What are the steps? Actually, we'll get the Kate. Maybe we'll start with you. What was one of your challenges that you had to do?
One of the challenges were your grandma comes to town. She brings you a takeout pizza. Treat yourself.
Ooh.
Oh, that was our special
How did that
one.
feel when you got that one?
Happy?
Yeah.
Very.
Really happy for pizza?
Yeah.
We ended up not doing it because my day was really crazy, so we ended up eating our normal food that day. But it was nice to know we had the option.
That's interesting because it was only 5 days.
Yeah. No, we had the Switzers gave us the chocolate.
Oh, our neighbors gave us some fudge and we kept it instead
Nice.
of declining it. So that was our treat instead of the pizza.
Owen, what was another challenge that you had to do?
The wear red.
Wearing red for Valentine's Day.
And why did you wear red on Valentine's Day?
Because the card said so.
Do you know why, though? What it represented? It was to say that you were taking part of a week of action against poverty.
Wear red.
So what did you do for wearing red?
We made stuff out of red paper,
What did we make, Owen?
headbands.
Neat. So you took that as a family time to get together and make some things to participate? Neat. Branson, do you remember another challenge?
You found a bed bug in your child's backpack?
Bed bugs. It used to be the good night, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite, but now it has certainly a different meaning in Kenora because there are bed bugs.
Yeah, 'cause it
and
almost used to be a myth in Kenora. Or, you know, now it's a reality.
it is. And whose backpack did you pretend it was in? Did you
That was
actually
yours.
pick a backpack?
We had that little black and gray one, wasn't
It was your backpack? Do you know what bed bugs are?
The black and
No.
gray one has nobody's.
it? Yeah.
So how did it make you feel to think that there was one bed bug in a backpack?
The kids probably don't know the implications of
Yeah,
what bed
yeah.
bugs can do. I was like, oh, that would be a horrible challenge to deal with on a regular basis. So I, as the mother, was like, oh man, that's not a good challenge.
So you did some research, though.
I walked downtown to the Northwest Health Unit and got information on what to do, what resources are available. So I learned what killed bed bugs. If it went from one bed bug to an infestation in your apartment, the cost of what it would cost to get rid of them, there's no way anyone on assistance could even contemplate the thought. So you would have to work through Ontario Works to get some kind of assistance to deal with a bed bug situation. So I would perceive that a lot of people would just be living with them because it would be very hard to get rid of them. It's expensive.
But it's also breaking the stigma, right? That it could easily come home in a backpack.
Yes.
It could come from anywhere. It's not necessarily in some place that
Yeah. Well, and that was one of my thoughts as a mother. Is where did this bed bug come from? You know, like where were the kids? Do I have to limit who they're visiting? Would I have to say, no, you can't go walk over to that friend's house because I think that's where it came from? You know, all those things started going through my head.
Right, so the other family's challenge, one of theirs was that they had lice, and that's something that we see more often in Kenora in the schools, right? So the stigma is still there, but I'm not sure if it's as strong as a bed bug issue, because you're right, Jerry, it's new, right?
It is. And I think the other thing that, if you have bed bugs, lice, is the idea is that it only strikes poor people. You know, it doesn't. But you hear it more.
It certainly would be more difficult and a bigger challenge.
You know, I think the reason why if you're on assistance and you have lice and people know about it, is because you have to go somewhere to deal with it. Whereas if you have the money, you can buy the products and deal with it in home.
Interesting.
Because you don't want to send I can't send my kid to school today because he had lice. The stigma that attaches to that is, it's, you know, because it doesn't know any color, doesn't know any, you know, money brackets.
No.
But the implications are all there, though.
So when you decided to take this challenge as a family, this is the first year that we've had just families participating. We weren't entirely sure how it was going to affect all the participants. Last year we did have one family and we got somewhat of an idea. But how did it make you feel as a family unit?
Well, I think we had to do some problem solving together. We had to come up with a game plan, you know, to do this challenge, letting the kids know ahead of time. We would be doing a lot of walking. We might not be able to do some activities. That the kids wouldn't be able to be snacking whenever they want to open up the fridge or the cupboard to grab something quickly. So we definitely had to do some, have a little pre-planning meeting on how we would conquer this week. And as the week got closer and I was looking at my busy schedule with other things, I'm like, oh, this is not convenient to be poor this week. And poverty is never convenient. So I could see why a lot of families wouldn't want to take on this challenge, you know, as a family group because of the things you're doing in your regular life. So I thought maybe that was a really shallow thing for me to think, but it was a reality check. This is not convenient or easy, and people live like this all the time. Yeah.
Did it make you kids think about things differently, or did you get anything different that you feel now than before the challenge? Has anything changed at all after having taken part?
Not really.
Are you more thankful for the things you have?
Oh, yeah.
And I definitely think he's a little more enthusiastic about his job now. He delivers papers, he does it with a little more gusto. You know.
Very good.
So,
You're appreciating that little bit that you're doing?
yeah, he's got a little more zip to his run, you know, get it done. Whereas before he was just lagging and strolling, taking his time.
Are you kids appreciative of our van more and the ability to get around? Yeah.
Which one was it that said that, why does the challenge have to take part in the winter?
Francie.
What did you mean by that?
That it's cold in the winter, and why does it have to happen?
Right. Do you think people are only poor during the summer? No. Did it make you think a little bit about that?
Yes.
Yeah. It might be a little easier during the summer
Yeah.
until the mosquitoes hit, right? So overall, this was based on Ontario Works basic needs. It was $75. You're a family of 5. You have a house. It was established with furniture. You had everything in it, so it was difficult to keep it realistic. But considering everything, do you feel that that $75 is ample in terms of social assistance?
We made it work, but when I started thinking of the reality of things, Could I have bought garbage bag tags that week to get rid of my garbage? Could, if anything would have broken in our home, you know, your fridge or your stove, could we have fixed it? Not a chance. You know, I had $10 left. What does $10 get you, you know, out of that $75? I couldn't have fixed my stove. And that's a necessity. You need to be able to cook for your family. There's lots of things that I thought of that the kids need for school that I just simply could not have bought. When they have a loony day or a toonie day for a fundraiser, or for you could buy freezies for a loony and then the money goes to the school. You just could not have sent any of those things to school. I was thinking of birthday parties. Couldn't have thrown my kids a birthday party, maybe within the family just a cake, but no presents. I couldn't allow my friends to, or the kids to go to a friend's birthday party. So there's so much more on top of that challenge. Like when I really started thinking of this as a parent and how it would affect the kids, that we just absolutely could not have done on that money.
So you said that you were talking to people within the community all the way through the challenge. How do you think you impacted their lives?
I hope we brought awareness to the people we were speaking to, because as I was telling them some of our challenges, different challenges popped into their heads. I didn't even think of bag tags at first, and so, because we have the ability to get rid of our garbage, you know, in a different way, so I don't have to buy bag tags. But someone else brought that up. Oh yeah, how would you have paid for that? And it was someone else who brought up, how would you have sent your kids to a birthday party? So a lot of these things I didn't even think of at first were other people's ideas. So I know that got the gears turning in their heads as well. How would a person actually live on that amount of money?
Very good. Yeah. So Branson and Owen, do you think that you might talk about it at school a little more now?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe not. Maybe.
How do you think you can help somebody after taking this challenge? Do you have any ideas on how you would help somebody within the school?
Not really.
No. Do you think perhaps what your mom was talking about when you're talking to people, that it makes them feel not so alone, or you could start talking about ways to help people?
Maybe, eh?
Made me think the response from the boys being that preteen age is, I think this is a pretty normal response. I wonder how many of the kids in school that are on assistance don't say anything. You wouldn't know about it. They don't talk about it. It's just not something that's brought up. And I would think there's probably a lot of kids in the school system in poverty that we just don't know about. They're not talking about it because they don't want people to know.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, we were talking about it before, and about how the response of not talking is probably something that happens for most kids experiencing it.
Yeah.
And the other thing I thought of is a lot of parents do a lot of stuff behind the scenes so their kids can have the pair of mittens, and they don't realize what, you know, some of the moms and dads are doing out there to make sure their needs are being met. And I would think a lot of those moms and dads are going without, and quite a bit without, so that they can get their kids some, you know, boots for winter, hopefully, or a half-decent parka. So maybe sometimes kids are unaware in that way. They don't know what else is being left behind just to get them some of their basic needs.
Interesting. Jerry, what do you think this poverty challenge brought to the community?
Well, you hope that the person that you talk to, it opens their eyes. Now, if you can open the eyes of one person, you maybe push that pay it forward thing, you know. He tells somebody else, and you know, that old commercial, I told two friends, they told two friends, that kind of thing. Apart from that, there's really not much else we can do than what we have. I think the majority of it falls on the person that's on assistance, right? You either get up and do it, or you don't. Now, I have the embarrassing situation of being on assistance. No, I didn't tell anybody, and nobody came forward to help me because I didn't ask for it. And I didn't want people knowing I was on assistance. No, I just struggled along until I finally said, you know what, like, this is enough. Now, I got to do better. I went out and got a job, and I've been working steady ever since. You know, just the fear of being on welfare was enough for me. And I kind of hope that somewhere along the line it does the same for somebody else.
But you often had a hand up along
Yes.
the way. You just have
Yeah.
to speak out. And I think the rest of us who can give people a hand up have to be very aware that not everyone's talking about their situation. So that means we need to be maybe more sensitive to the cues. You know, when you ask someone out for coffee or to do something, how often are they saying no to you? Oh, I wonder, maybe they can't afford it. Maybe there's a reason they're saying no.
Yeah.
So for us who can help to be much more sensitive to the words and the actions of the people around us may give us some clues that maybe they do need a hand up.
Very good. Thank you so much for taking this challenge. You, as a family, have done your part, I think, that you've started this conversation within our community, not just within your own little family unit or your church community or your school. The entire community is now talking about your experience. And of course, we can never replicate somebody that does live on social assistance because it's much more extreme, obviously. But just within your family, we heard how difficult it is to talk about it. So having these conversations could be the start, and maybe you'll make the difference in one person's life, and that's all that we're hoping for this. So keep the conversation moving and let everybody know that poverty can strike anybody, and that we all have to help each other out. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kate. So thank you to all the participants, the other family, the Griffiths family. They were great participants as well. And thank you to everybody that covered the event and brought all the word out to the community, the media, and everybody that read the blogs as they were going through this experience. They were blogging. The blogs are still out in the World Wide Web, that you can reach them through the makingkenorahome.ca website and read about the Griffiths family and the Boucher family experience as they were going through it. So thank you, everybody, and until next time.